What is birth time Yin Yang reading, 八字, and why birth time can reflect a person's destiny? What is birth time Yin Yang reading, which is widely known as Bazi in Chinese? Why is a person's birth time related to their personality, talents, health condition, temperament, appearance, and the ups and downs of their life and luck? Is this some kind of nonsense created by ancient Chinese astrologists? Is there really a connection between a person's birth time and their personality and destiny? Isn't this a superstition or a pseudoscience which lacks scientific evidence? Wait a moment. Before jumping to the conclusion, let's figure out what on earth is birth time Yin Yang reading and what does it consist of? Before answering the question, let's figure out what true birth time is. It may not be what you think. In many cases, it is different from your birth certificate. 八字 refers to a very special moment in life, which is the beginning of a person's life on Earth. Scientists and medical experts may debate about when life begins. Yet in the system of 八字, there is a precise moment defined as the very beginning of a person's lifelong journey, which is the moment when a baby breathes the first fresh air through its lungs. If you ask a nurse, she will probably tell you that not every baby cries immediately after they were born. Some babies may take a little time to cry and start breathing air into their lungs. There is only one rule here. The one and only moment of taking the first breath, which is often referred to as the body's startup moment. In Yin Yang theory, this very first breath is yuan qi, the primary energy, which flows within the body and is essential for overall health and vitality. Because a person can only have one startup moment of life, the primary energy cannot be replaced. This is why birth time is considered so important and is used to calculate a person's fortunes, blessings, and misfortunes. When it comes to figuring out the accurate startup moment, it's not a piece of cake. Today, we are all within artificially defined time zones, and the time in each time zone is based on the central meridian of the region covered by the time zone. For example, London is within the time zone covered by the Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, or Coordinated Universal Time, UTC, which is often referred to as the Zero Time Zone or Zulu Time Zone. This time zone is based on the prime meridian, which passes through Greenwich, London, making it the reference point for timekeeping worldwide. However, the position of the prime meridian is determined by human choice rather than by astronomical or natural phenomena. The division of time zones is based on the arrangement of meridians. So, in a certain sense, it can be seen as mechanical and rigid because they are standards set by humans rather than natural boundaries in the natural world. When you read the time on your birth certificate, that time is not your true birth time. It's merely the standardized time of the time zone in which your birthplace is located. Sometimes you will even find the standard time of your time zone does not match with your birth time. It is because some places may observe daylight saving time. Your true birth time is determined by the true solar time at the location where you were born. So, what is true solar time and how it can be calculated? True solar time is based on the actual position of the sun in the sky. By calculating the differences of the longitude of your birthplace and the longitude of the central meridian of the time zone of your birthplace, you can estimate true solar time. This is because approximately every 1 degree of longitude corresponds to a time difference of about 4 minutes. For example, Boston has a longitude of 71 degrees west, and it is in the UTC-5 time zone. with a standard time based on the meridian of 75 degrees west. Since Boston is located to the east of the 75 degrees west longitude, the true solar time of Boston would be 4 degrees ahead of the 75 degrees west longitude. That is to say, a person born at 7:55 a.m. in Boston would have a true solar birth time that is 60 minutes earlier, making it 8:11 a.m. If you were born when your location was observing daylight saving time, then your birth time should be subtracted by 1 hour. Now I know how to find the true solar time, but what's the point? I still can't understand why my birth time is so closely related to my destiny. Just as described in my last video, spring brings life and sprouts. Summer thrives with life and flourishes. Autumn bears fruit and withers. Winter brings death and animals hibernate. All living creatures on Earth follow the law of the changing seasons, no exception, including human beings. Just as the Earth experiences the cycle of seasons year after year, individuals go through the cycle of life stages. Spring represents a time of renewal, growth, and vitality. Similarly, the early stages of a person's life, from birth to young adulthood, can be likened to spring, a period of rapid development, exploration, and the acquisition of knowledge and skills, with a sense of freshness, curiosity, and potential. Summer is a season of abundance and fullness, which corresponds to adulthood. It's about being productive, active, and capable. Relationships, careers, and personal achievement tend to thrive during this period. Autumn is associated with the harvest and the gradual transition towards winter. Similarly, middle age can be seen as an autumnal phase in life. It's a time of reflection, reevaluation, and sometimes reassessment of one's goals and accomplishments. Just as trees shed their leaves, individuals may let go of certain aspects of their lives to focus on what truly matters. Winter is a season of dormancy, cold, and often challenges. Old age in a person's life can be compared to winter. It's a period marked by a decline in physical and, to some extent, mental abilities. It may be a time of greater vulnerability, but also one of wisdom, reflection, and the opportunity for a slower pace of life. To better observe how the cycle of life stages works, ancient Chinese built a model that mimics the variations throughout a person's life. This model simulates the changes of the 4 seasons and serves as a metaphorical representation of the yearly cycle of seasons in life. This model is Bazi, your birth time Yin Yang reading. Bazi assumes that life is akin to 4 seasons, with every 10 years equivalent to 1 month. Since one season comprises 3 months, 30 years can represent 1 season of life. Just as the ecology and climate vary from month to month in nature, life also undergoes changes every decade. Therefore, Bazi introduces the concept of decade luck, where each 10-year period is considered a unit. An 80-year-old may have experienced approximately 7 or 8 decade luck periods, 大运, in their lifetime, which is equivalent to spanning 3 seasons. The order of decade luck goes as follows. For males born in Yang years and females born in Yin years, it is arranged in sequence following the seasons. However, for males born in Yin years and females born in Yang years, it is arranged in the opposite order of seasons. Everyone begins their decade luck periods at different times. Some start shortly after birth, while others may not start until they are around 10 years old. Life progresses in the order of decade luck periods, 大运. starting from the month you were born and continuing accordingly. A decade luck represents a person's fortune, challenges, and opportunities during that 10-year phase. Because the starting point of decade luck is your birth month, everyone's decade luck is fixed and cannot be changed, and is a direct reflection of the original Bazi. Good destiny but bad luck doesn't exist. Decade luck is the dynamic manifestation of one's original Bazi. For example, you can think of the original Bazi as a car, and the decade luck as the road conditions that the car will encounter. Whether the journey is difficult or not ultimately depends on how good the car is. Even on less favorable roads, a good car can still navigate them, although it may not be able to travel at its maximum speed. The combination of the original Bazi and the decade luck is like adding seasons to a living being. It abstracts the changes of the 4 seasons using the concept of Yin Yang and projects them onto a person's destiny, allowing a person's fate to be expressed through the abstract concept of Yin Yang movement. So, how can Yin Yang be used to express a person's birth time? Yin Yang in Bazi are typically expressed through the heavenly steams and earthly branches. There are a total of 10 heavenly steams, with 5 Yang heavenly steams and 5 Yin heavenly steams. There are 12 earthly branches, also equally divided into Yin and Yang. Yang heavenly steams are paired with Yang earthly branches, and Yin heavenly steams are paired with Yin earthly branches, forming a total of 60 combinations known as the sexagenary cycle. Because such a sexagenary cycle starts with Yangwood rat, 甲子, it is called 60甲子 in Chinese. The sexagenary cycle serves as the alphabet of the steam branch time calculating system, known as 干支计时, a time measuring system based on Yin Yang. The 10 heavenly steams are Yangwood, 甲, Yinwood, 乙, Yang fire, 丙, Yin fire, 丁, Yang earth, 戊, Yin earth, 己, Yang metal, 庚, Yin metal, 辛, Yang water, 壬, Yin water, 癸. The 12 earthly branches goes as follows: 子丑寅卯辰巳午未申酉戌亥 rat, ox, tiger, hare, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, pig. That's interesting. I still have some questions. When was Bazi invited? And who invited Bazi? Through my exclusive studies of the historical sources, I found that Bazi first appeared during the late 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period, 五代十国末期, and the early Northern Song dynasty, 北宋早期, in history. The earliest individuals to possess their complete Bazi were Emperor Taizu of the Song, Song Taizu, Su Shi, Wang Anshi, and others who were born during the late 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period, or the early years of the Northern Song dynasty, spanning from the 10th century to the 11th century. It is believed that Bazi was first invented by a person named Xu Ziping, a person who was from a county named Donghai, during the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period. Xu Ziping didn't invent Bazi out of thin air. He improved the popular fortune destiny method, 路命法, from the Tang dynasty. The fortune destiny method was a birth time yin yang reading system using 3 pillars, each representing the year, month, and date of a person's birth time, with an emphasis on the year pillar. Why the year pillar? In birth time yin yang reading, a year pillar represents the grandparents and parents, a person's origin, the family background, and the country you were born. In the Tang Dynasty, the aristocratic groups held absolute political, economic, and cultural privileges. People with common backgrounds had no chance at all to share a piece of the cake. This determined that in Tang Dynasty, the key to success was one's ancestral background. This is why the fortune destiny method considered the year pillar, which represents one's family background, as the most crucial element. This means that if your family background is not strong, you may not have much potential. After the Tang Dynasty came the turbulent and frequently changing 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period. The frequent changes in government and territorial control during the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period meant that the aristocrats and nobility of the Tang Dynasty were no longer as influential. Instead, those who had skills and abilities became more dominant and powerful. They came from all sorts of family backgrounds, no longer limited to the nobles. This is a game changer, which directly led to the emergence of a new birth time yin yang reading system, a new birth time yin yang system that emphasized individual abilities, talents, and personalities, which is the Bazi system invented by Xu Ziping. I also found that before the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period, the sexagenary cycle was used to measure the year, the month, and the date, but was never introduced to the measurement of the hour. The hour of a day is merely measured based on the earthly branches, such as Yin Shi, tiger hour, and Mao Shi, hare hour. For instance, no records of Yanwood tiger hour, Jia Yin Shi, or Yin water hare hour, Gui Mao Shi, was found in any historical sources earlier than the 10th century. This is because when calculating the hour, owning the earthly branch is needed, because the fortune destiny method, which was passed down from the Tang Dynasty with a focus on a person's family background, was no longer suitable for predicting the destinies of people during the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period. Yin Yang practitioners urgently needed a reform for birth time yin yang reading. Xu Ziping, or someone in his era, first introduced the complete sexagenary cycle to describe hour. By doing so, the year, month, date, and hour can all be described by the sexagenary cycle. The year, month, date, and hour form the 4 pillars, and each pillar is composed of 2 characters. One character represents the heavenly stream, while the other represents the earthly branch. A total of 8 characters, also a total of 4 pillars. This is why it is called Bazi or Sizhu in Chinese, or Sazu in Korean. Here is a chart showing the differences of fortune destiny method and Bazi. Bazi takes the day master as the Taiji point, emphasizing one's post-birth actions and personal standpoint. Today, an individual's post-birth actions remain crucial for their success, and the Yin Yang system that expresses the year, month, date, and hour is not outdated. As the solar system continues to work, Yin Yang still operates according to the 4-season cycle, just as they did in the 10th or 11th century. Therefore, Bazi is still applicable today. But how can I benefit from Bazi, and what's the point of birth time yin yang reading? Well, Now you are aware that the human destiny is like the changing seasons of a tree. The purpose of Bazi is to determine the season of life you are in, helping you understand what actions are appropriate for that season. For example, during winter, you shouldn't plant crops, and during summer, you shouldn't wear heavy clothing. Furthermore, the specific time and place of your birth reflect your unique traits. If you are a peach, you cannot be nurtured using the methods for growing oranges. Everyone deserves to explore their unique talents, amplify their strengths, and mitigate their weaknesses. Bazi helps you gain self-awareness, guiding you toward favorable outcomes while avoiding adversity. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!